Hello, Steve's here. I've gotten together with some support group to discuss a sensitive issue, the R word being used in the community, and I've got the rest of my group to help discuss why it's wrong to be using it carelessly as a noun. So, Steve, would you like to start us off?
All right. So yeah, I was not amused to hear some people refer the R word, and I think it's some sort of hate speech.
Can I just ask a question?
Sure.
So for people out in the community who don't know what the R word is,
the R word is retard, like used as a verb that means to slow something down, or hinder growth, and sometimes it's also used as a noun to describe which is offensive to the mentally handicapped. And,
thank you.
yes.
The intellectual disabled is very offensive too. It's very offensive to intellectually disabled or developmentally delayed people. It's very offensive. In my opinion, retard or retarded should only be used in music or science, not describing humans.
Yeah, like, there's, I might be spelled with R-I instead of R-E, but there's retard in music, kind of like crescendo, decrescendo, staccato. There's retard in that case, and then there's also retard of fire, like flame retarded, but to say physically retarded, like stunted, like dwarfism, or mentally retarded, like that's becoming offensive. I mean, like, if someone was physically retarded, that's the only time I can think of that, but saying for a person is becoming offensive, especially mentally or physically, but in fire and music, that's the time I can think.
Yeah, because there's this king named Charles II of Spain. He was both mentally and physically handicapped.
The Habsburg?
Yeah.
With the Habsburg jaw that sticks out?
Yeah, and he couldn't, his mind was so feeble, he didn't get a basic education. And he ruled for over 35 years as king. And he had only one testicle that was as black as coal. His head was full of water, and his intestines were rotten.
Oh dear.
It's from the inbreeding in the royals.
Yeah, inbreeding. Yeah, and Queen Victoria's children, they had hemophilia.
Yeah, like including
Yes.
the Russian Prince Alexei.
Yeah.
Yes.
Man, honestly, it's messed up. It's messed up, really. Like, and there was this family called the Blue People of Kentucky. They were like, there was this couple who had 7 children, but 3 or 4 of them had like blue skin. Like, went to the mountains.
From like silver or something? Silver poison? Or was it something else?
It's like they had like blue skin. Now, they spend all their lives. Hold on. They spent. The Blue People of Kentucky, that's right. They were the Fugate family, who lived in Troublesome Creek in the 19th and 20th centuries, distinguished by their blue-tinged skin. And they had like a blood disorder, so they hid in the mountains and practiced inbreeding, and then after like centuries, they finally sought medical treatment, and then their descendants, there were like no more blue-skinned descendants, and like the last one died on like 1975, right? Yeah, because they suffered from a rare genetic condition. It was a rare genetic blood disorder called methylglobin caused by a recessive gene and exacerbated by inbreeding in an isolated community. It's messed up, really.
Yeah.
At least they didn't look like At least they didn't have any red skin or green skin. 'Cause people would be like, aliens!
Well, Native Americans are first skin.
The blue skin
Oh.
one.
Black,
I've seen
white,
it kill people
yellow,
too.
red are the common, and then orange brown. But green, blue, purple are rare among a lot of animals, and blue and purple are rare along plants.
Yeah.
Well,
So getting back on topic.
Yeah, I was about to
things?
say.
Yeah, sorry
And
about
this
that.
has something to do with retard because
yeah. Anyway, hey, the thing that really got me to think that we should get this video going is the fact that had I heard the R word used at my jobs in the past and also my current one, which I've only been with for 5 months, and I've already had 4 different instances where people have used that word.
And were they using it on you?
Now they were talking about how other employees who just weren't doing their jobs very well.
Yeah, because I had an old friend named Elizabeth Devonshire, better known as, we called her Lizzie, and she was like mentally challenged, but she lived on her own. She had a job. She was pretty much. Her IQ was lower than mine, but like he was married. She had an apartment. She had a job. Those things but she ended up, her life basically fell apart, and her life fell apart soon after, and I want my own place. I have a job. I want my own. I have ambitions. I have goals. I just need to do at least one thing, like work on one thing, and then I can start on another thing. If I could just publish it, like sharing my talents with the world. If I could just share at least one poem, or one story, one report, that would be a start.
in speaking of IQ, I don't think IQ or intellectual quotient should ever be used. Because I know people with low IQ who could get you from point A to point B, who knows a lot about pop culture, but they're a little slow in math and science. But IQ would never get that.
I think it should.
I also had a low IQ, medium to low IQ, but yet I graduated from college.
I think that IQ should be used because if autistic people are lacking in social skills, then a higher IQ is the only reason why autism should not be cured or prevented.
Yeah, because people with high IQs are usually shy, high and quiet, right?
Right, and it's caused by autism. Even if most autistic people are intellectually disabled, there are intelligent autistic people who would not be more intelligent if they weren't autistic. I'm going to make an analogy. Most people have black or brown hair as opposed to blonde. Most
Blonde or
people.
red hair.
Most people don't have a hair that they have a hair that's not that clear color. Let's say someone has dyes their hair blonde. I'm not saying that all blonde people is because they dyed their hair, but there could be a blonde person who wouldn't be blonde if they didn't dye, their hair wasn't dyed, if you know what I mean. So not all autistic people, so this isn't about statistics, this is about causation. Not all autistic people are smarter, but there are smart autistic people who wouldn't be smart if they weren't more autistic. And when we cure the pollution and radiation in the environment, then all autistic people will have an IQ of 400, but neurotypicals will not.
I think,
And we'll cure the parts
James' initial intention was, how do we change the community's take on the use of using the R word, and how do we prevent that from happening? Is that correct, James?
Yes, that is. I feel like because it's hate speech, we shouldn't be using it. Just like you don't hear people at a job just carelessly using like the N word, heard the K word.
You hear it on the bus all the time with black people. Black people say, "Oh, my nigga," or "my nigga," I'm a nigga. Or
But they don't say it to be offensive though. They are black themselves.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
I
it's
find
just
that. I mean, it's weird that I find that offensive because I feel like they're degrading themselves.
Yeah.
But I don't say anything because it's not my culture. I'm not black, and
Yeah.
it would be rude.
Yeah.
Kind of like it's offensive when people tell us, when neurotypicals tell us that person with autism is the proper and autistic person is rude, and I don't really have a strong opinion, but I just like arguing with the neurotypicals just for the sake of arguing. So because autistic people say autistic person, I like to bring it up just to say I'm right and you're wrong.
Well, the reason some people say autistic person, because a person with autism is enunciated. Autism is,
It defines us.
it's the main word. Instead of autistic person, like, oh, the person has autism. It's okay, normal, fine. But a person with autism, it's like, oh my God, you have this disease.
Because if someone's with or if they have something that's different from a them and them, it's not.
Yes.
It means it's something better. You can sit there if you want. What's your name again?
Dan.
Dan. That's right.
Thanks for coming, Dan. Good to
Yeah.
see you.
Yeah, I don't think that you heard my petition yet. I know we're recording something else now. It was already discussed.
I think James' intention was to stick on this, stick on this one topic and get people's opinions.
What about our word?
I think we should be respectful of that and get the message across. Would you agree?
Oh, yes.
I agree.
Yeah.
Retard is a hate word.
Yeah, it's a hate word. I mean, back then, in that one episode of Family Guy called Petarded, they basically used it to make fun of Peter being mentally and intellectually handicapped.
If I'm
On
missing,
a TV show?
Yeah.
And
Oh,
Seth
no.
MacFarlane, I thought he would be a little more sensitive than that.
No, it's just humor. It's just.
Yeah.
I know, but
It's just
it's a play of retard, but that's a little too close to saying the exact
Yeah.
word instead
Yeah.
of retard.
Yeah.
if I'm missing something about what you said earlier, this is basically. I don't know why the photo is upside down, but this is basically about person first order in front of language. We're autistic people, not people with autism. This is what it's like if you can see it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
It's a letter A made of jigsaw puzzle pieces.
The person is wearing a shirt with an arrow that says "I'm with autism." That's basically what it implies. And then another picture that was upside down for something. And then person with autism versus autistic person, neurology is not an accessory. And then there's the sheltering suburban mom meme believes that autistic people should use person first language. Calls herself an autism mom.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But I personally believe that the puzzle piece for autism is very offensive.
Yeah,
Because-
the history behind it is offensive.
Because we're not a mystery.
Right.
We know what's going on, and it's a mystery to the neurotypicals, but a puzzle piece, I just personally don't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, before Autism Speaks used the blue puzzle piece in 2006. I know that the National Autistic Society, they quickly reformed, but their letterhead was a black and green puzzle piece with a crying child. So that's why it's offensive. And also the blue puzzle piece with the 5 tabs on it, it's meant to be shaped as a child who is a puzzle piece. And it's blue for boys.
Yeah, because that's like so subjective.
Right, exactly. I think that we should, for objective reasons, I think that we went from Autism Awareness Month to Autism Acceptance Month.
Yes.
And now I thought of this on my own independently, coincidentally, but I Googled to see whoever else had the same thought, and then my Convergent Discovery and thought some others had the idea too. But after Autism Awareness, Autism Acceptance, I think that we should have Autism Appreciation Month, celebrating 400 years of autism. Newton, Franklin, Einstein, and Grandin succeeded because of their autism, not despite it.
Yeah, and then there's also
So
Mozart.
Newton and
Franklin and Einstein, they lived before diagnosis. There were adults a while before there was a diagnosis, but Grandin was.
I know there are famous people who I think were on the spectrum, like Lewis Carroll, but I didn't know about Newton and Franklin.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Grandin was diagnosed.
Well, I know I've heard.
Yeah. There's like Ulysses S. Grant that had Asperger's and Braxton Bragg.
And some people think
and-
they thought maybe Emily Dickinson had Asperger's as well.
Yeah. Then there's
And Einstein probably was on the spectrum.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Thomas Jefferson, Mozart, Darwin,
Yeah.
H.G. Wells, Edison,
It's hard for me to picture.
Martin Luther.
It's hard for me to picture it. I mean, how can you be on the spectrum and be a leader? It's something like if you have to mobilize people. It seems like, Thomas Jefferson. I mean, maybe Newton, like scientists and stuff, but people like Franklin and Jefferson. I mean,
Different parts of the spectrum, and people get better in adulthood, and it causes intelligence and talents.
Lest we forget. Sorry, the creator of Pokemon has autism. Creator of Pokemon.
That's interesting because
It came from his fascination of insects.
I find Nintendo
people who are
Maybe.
fans of Pokemon, would you think they tend to be on the spectrum?
Yes,
Very
I'm
possible, because
I'm
I
not
was a huge
personally
fan
a fan of video games or anime, but I know that a lot of autistic people are more obsessed with video games and are fans of like anime, superhero comics,
yeah.
Dungeons and Dragons, LAN parties, stuff like that.
Wow. I find it very interesting that we're talking about neurotypicals and neurodivergent, and we were gonna keep on the topic of our word.
Well, topics evolve.
But we're all expressing our attention deficit disorder by changing subjects.
It's indirectly related.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Jacob, according to your definition, the people are more like if autistic people tend to be more into anime and comics.
That's not my definition.
Video game, and it seems like everybody in my team at work is autistic on the spectrum.
I'm not saying that those people are autistic, but I'm saying that autistic people often have those obsessions. I'm autistic and I have none of those interests, but I've observed that though.
Superheroes and stuff, huh?
I've observed that, but I'm not interested in any of that stuff. But yeah, I know that, like I said earlier. Sci-fi movies, stuff like that, right? Like
I like sci-fi movies, but it's not a special interest for me.
Yeah, I only like Star Wars. It's like the only science fiction I like because it has emotion.
I mean, I as a younger child, I thought I had special interests, but now I don't really think I have them. I mean, I like history. I like Vietnam War. I like learning about plagues, but I won't be talking for 3 hours about them.
Yeah. Phil, what are your thoughts?
I strongly suspect that French composer Eric Satie might have been on the spectrum because he looked at the world differently, and his music reflects his own unique turn on the subject of music, and I guess by extension how he perceived the world. He had very particular habits in his own personal grooming and his work schedule. And for this reason, I think that kind of shapes my own definition. I too have my own particulars that I adhere to. And I grew up listening to Mo Howard call his brother Curly an imbecile.
Yeah.
But I, took it in my stride. It was a vaudeville act and prone to exaggeration.
I remember when the only kid in 8th grade that said anything tried to comfort me was this girl that said, "Never mind those kids; they're all a bunch of retards." And I refused. I objected to the word, but I knew that she was trying to make me feel better, and she was ignorant of the correct word.
Right, because sometimes if someone there's insult to the person, but the particular insult can insult other people too, whether it's goes beyond what their original intent to insult, or if it's in spite of it, like in this case.
So how do we make that transition? How do we stop that?
Well, I think we already did. I think just to catch on. For instance, like I said earlier, I think even in the mid 2000s, many states in their laws for classifications of IQ ranges, a lot of states still use the words idiot, moron, and imbecile.
Right.
So
But
yes,
if, but if somebody in the community, like James, is still hearing people referred to as being retarded,
it takes time. I don't know
how
how
do
to
you know?
I mean, the New York State could get rid of it, but society is so used
So we
to
did.
saying retard, and especially younger kids, middle and high school, and people on the buses call people retard, or hey, you're a
But we were
retard
used
every
to-
single day. We're used to it.
But we were also used to idiot though as well. I mean,
Yes.
like the states, like even, and it wasn't pejorative at the or derogatory at the time. It wasn't intentionally bad. Like a lot of organizations said, like I read in one of these autism memoirs in general about disabilities in general. Like someone said, like the something for idiotic persons, and they changed it to mental retardation. In the 1950s, mentally retarded was considered nicer, and that was progressive. But it's only been in the mid 2000s that became offensive, and that people were switching. I mean, retard was, I don't know about mental retardy, like nominee or devotee, but probably not, because tardy is not with a double E is supposed to Y. But look, retard was always bad, but retard or mentally retarded was not. But then mid 2000s.
I would say even earlier. I remember
Right.
being diagnosed as mentally retarded when I was 1981, 82, but I start to remember pushback against retard around the mid-90s.
Yeah, and it ties into what Jacob said in the petition. I mean, they can change it from the medical or legal point of view, but society will still like keep ostracizing us because we're on a spectrum, even though if officially or legally or medical.
My position was for something else.
Yeah,
Yes,
we're being ostracized regardless of the change of definition. So
right. So I know that in the 1950s, mentally retarded was considered nicer than idiot. So
I just want
Yes.
I just want to say, in about 1979, I first learned the term developmentally disabled.
Yeah.
Which
Because
is
I
not,
was working with a small therapy group. I was either a therapy aide or an art teacher. I was working with a small group, and one of them was developmentally disabled.
right, which isn't the same, but it overlaps it. I mean, because some support level 2 and especially 3 autistic people and other people like can have both. So for instance, like my services, they're clustered. I'm support level 1 autistic, but a lot of financial like services to help with housing, for Medicaid, WD, ISS. It's like I/DD.
But autism is under the developmental disability.
Right, and then in the larger overlap, there's intellectual and developmental. So I'm clustered in with I think all of us, if we get services, is I/DD collective. Intellectually and developmentally.
I/DD.
Intellectually and or developmentally disabled. They cluster in. Some people have both. A lot of services are related. That doesn't mean that we individually, personally. I'm going to assume that. I mean, you said that you were diagnosed, but you're not really, because I mean you function like as if not. But like I would assume that.
I was also misdiagnosed.
Right. I'm going to assume that none of us are intellectually disabled, and intellectually but not developmentally. I don't know if there are, but the intellectually is more severe. It'll be hard not to. But there is overlap between the two, though, for autistic and non-autistic. Like so, that's why they kind of cluster in a larger cluster. But in the 1950s, mentally retarded was considered nicer than idiot. So that's why they did it. And it took decades for legislation to pass and for organizations. But it was in the I mean, I think it takes time, but I think that this time around, switching from mentally retarded to intellectually disabled is faster than the first switch around. We have faster communication and transportation, and people are more open-minded. I am afraid, however, that intellectual disability will eventually be used pejoratively and then become offensive. People won't change it, but you have to still have some terminology to differentiate and distinguish stuff from other terminology.
What about no labels?
But that can help with services, and like I said earlier, I actually want an autism label because that defines me. Because like I said earlier, for instance, like friendship's easier, and like autistic people are 10, 12 times more likely to date other people. So if there's a place that we can go to that we already know in advance that other people will be support level 1 autistic, then it will make us easier to seek each other out, kind of like social works a dating site, but in person works better, easier. So we can find each other. Like I know this is unrelated, but you brought it up again. It kind of overlaps now at this point. Like the government provides free homesteads for independent autistic adults. It will help us. We already have our residential needs, but it will help us with. It will help to subsidize or incentivize our social needs.
Yeah, I also like the term autism because it makes me feel like I'm actually human and not some real person who can't fit in anything. I like to be in a box because I am not the only one who's
because if we have now. Some people, I mean, I like the good parts of autism, like intelligence, but I understand if people say they don't want to have a problem. But if you diagnose an existing problem that can help, I'm going to give another example. It would be ideal if I didn't have sleep apnea, but I had trouble sleeping. I would need to sleep longer to not be tired. When I had a sleep study, I was hoping and I was relieved retrospectively that the cause that I had tested positive, I had sleep apnea. Because it was a reason. I knew I could do something to change it with my CPAP now so I can sleep better. I'm not saying that if I was back in time, barring other reasons, not time travel, I'm not saying that I would want to cause sleep apnea because then I would be better asleep if I didn't. I don't want to cause that in myself or others, but I'm glad that I had a diagnosed reason. Now, for this thing, I know there's more of a stigma perceived with mental stuff, but having a box will help us seek each other out. And another thing is like, for instance, there's all this toxic positivity as a form of gaslighting. Yeah, thank you. Like people tell us how to feel good when like we don't choose to. No one would feel bad. No one would choose to feel bad if they couldn't. I mean, like, okay, so here's the thing. Like I was talking about separately, I think before 2 people came in, but like to this group, but for instance, and I was talking about this like at Phil's house yesterday, but something that I don't like is that so people are always excluding me and they condescend me. We have trouble getting friends, and I also want to get a girlfriend. And for instance, this is kind of annoying. Like people would always tell me this, and then I would post on Yahoo Answers when that existed, asking how I could find a girlfriend with Asperger's if dating sites aren't working. And people would make an answer that was already given to me before. I wouldn't choose one of them as the best answer, so they would vote it as the one that was the you don't need a girlfriend with Asperger's part. So anyway, to summarize, people reject me. And that's why I look for people who are like me, because in my experience, from myself, what I've observed and heard or read, it works. Now, people always tell me, you don't need an autistic girlfriend to find a girlfriend. And they say that it sounds nice, but that's not reality. And I swear to God, the next neurotypical who says that to me, if it's a woman, I'm going to say, oh, do you want to be my girlfriend? No. Okay, well then, then don't tell me that. How do you know? I mean, like people say that, but I mean, for instance, it's admirable to not reject people. Like for instance, I mean, I know in my head, this sounds fat because I mean, this sounds harsh because I'm overweight myself. But like, I mean, I don't want to date someone who's overweight. And yeah, like in the media, we say, yeah, it's admirable that we don't judge people, beauties on the inside, but that's not reality. We can't choose to like something.
I'm thinking about what Veronica said about educating people. Then maybe we can put some effort into educating society.
We should do both because I don't know how fast it will be.
I would. I spoke earlier about having been involved with this population for 55 years. What I found is that it's time to move past awareness and acceptance. The reason why we are still focused on that is because people are not educated enough.
Yes.
They really need to be educated before they, if they were educated, knew what to expect, and knew how to engage, and then they wouldn't have to. There wouldn't be this awareness. There wouldn't be this.
Not be awareness, like cat awareness from other people.
Corey had something to say for 20 minutes.
Corey, I'm sorry.
It's okay. The only thing I can think of, especially in regards to the R word, is hope to be, if you have someone saying it, hopefully someone who's older and wiser knows better, hopefully, especially if it's younger people, hopefully, try to teach them the error of their ways and hopefully sooner rather than later they'll learn. It's kind of similar like when a young kid uses a certain swear word, the parent says, yeah, you can't do that. And they keep using it and they keep, being sent to their room, timeout, whatever. And eventually they'll finally learn that, okay, that's not a good thing for me to say. So I'm hoping in that, hoping too, but that's really the one way I can think of.
Mm-hmm. I agree, that's a great point.
I think we should educate. Well, I don't know how fast that
Oh,
will
yeah,
be, though, because we should do multiple fronts at once because
well, it's gonna
we
take a
can't
while.
force people to like us.
There was actually a program that people at Gulf State hosts almost, I don't know, either April or October, where they educate the college students saying retard is not a good word to use with people. You use it. I've never been to this. I think it's also at the library, but I've heard about this presentation, and I think that's a good thing, and I think we need to expand it.
I was saying earlier that throughout my years, whenever I had an opportunity, I would get a panel of people together for an audience. It could be college students, it could be families, and it would provide an opportunity for people to ask questions of the people that they're curious about, that they need to know more about. And I think panel discussions are wonderful. I've had several of them.
Yeah,
and people
we
really
had that.
So how can we set them up?
What's that, Kathy?
I was just gonna say, we had a panel discussion at, I think it was at the North Park Theater.
Yes.
That several of us sat and well, yeah.
Yes, it was from the movie.
Yeah, and then several of us sat in front and we gave presentations and I think we took questions.
Yeah, I remember because Sue was there,
Yep.
and Gabriel, my grandson, because he's very much into
Life animated.
electronics and that, went up to Sue and asked her a question because he knows how Sue's really into those phones and all that kind of
So
stuff.
how
you
do
know.
we set them up? Who and how do we set them up, all these things, all
Well,
these meetings?
we have to find groups. I mean, I think starting with, people going into like universities or high schools,
Yeah,
or
but how do we do that?
grade schools.
How do we do that?
even.
Do we schedule appointments? Who would get there? Who would do all these things?
Well,
Or maybe
maybe
Jacob, I don't know.
maybe one thing we could do is like create some sort of a flyer to put out, offering
Like a PSA?
a panel to I think it's really important to go right into the grade schools and start right there,
Right.
and because they are surrounded. I mean, they are surrounded by people who are autistic and do not know how to interact with them.
So wouldn't that help stop bullying?
It helps
It will
stop
probably
bullying.
will stop bullying.
If the autistic kids are being bullied because they're different and they're so different that the other kids don't even think they're human, then educating the kids about autism, then they would say, oh, so-and-so is autistic, that's why they act that way.
That's exactly the reason
It
why.
would create some understanding, and doesn't Sesame Street have an autistic character?
Yeah. There are a lot of things these days that include somebody with autism, but I think that again, I'm 100% with education. I think that's first and foremost.
So shouldn't we
People are
call the
not
principal?
educated properly on what to expect when they meet somebody with autism.
So how do we do that? Do we say someone call the principal and then bring like a guest speaker? Like how do we do
like
that?
I said, we could even create some sort of a flyer to drop off at schools, or post it somewhere, that we're offering panel discussions as a means of educating children, high school kids, even university people who are, like the people studying OT or PT
Right.
or something, because they're going to be working with people who are autistic.
It probably will stop bullying and discrimination, but I think that we need to also take other measures as well that are more drastic, because we can't force people to socially and romantically like us.
No, I'm not saying that.
Right.
I don't think it will.
But
I
they
don't-
need to understand it. They need to understand
Yes.
it, and the
You
only
need to
way
stop bullying and discrimination.
the only way that they can is by educating them.
I've been condescended to my whole life.
I mean, I don't think bullying will stop completely, but it will dramatically decrease.
And I mean, let's face it, this population isn't the only population that gets
No.
bullied.
Right.
You know, there's a lot of people out there that get bullied for other reasons. All right, James, do you feel that these discussions have satisfied what you were looking for, and that you could create something out of this?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Anything else that you want to add or ask?
No, I think that should be all.
You got some good input from people, and I really appreciate it. You know that you guys thought about it, that it was even brought up as a topic of importance, which it is, and that people came forward, and people came. Okay.
Yeah.
And that people have given their input on it. So thank you for that. Yes,
Yeah,
Andrew.
So, example, Mozart had autism, right? Mozart had autism. He was like a talented music composer, and there's like people, like a lot of people. I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to remember.
Phil, did Mozart have autism?
Yeah, he
I
did.
believe he did.
Trying to
Okay.
remember
It
some
would
things.
explain why he could compose
check
at
it
such a
out.
young age.
Mm-hmm.
Let me Google it up. Or
Yeah.
ChatGPT.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, we judge others.
how
There's
can
a
we
lot.
tie this up?
Maybe we shouldn't be. I mean, if we are going to, we shouldn't be judging others based on our appearance or.
After this discussion, I know I said it earlier, but I want to ask another follow-up question about the other topic after this is done.
Okay, go ahead because
Okay.
we're running
So,
out of space.
Who here, who here, I already know one person has, besides myself automatically, but who here plans to sign my petition about the homesteads? Awesome, so we have three, awesome. Do you want to, sign it on change.org? Oh, you said you'd only do it physically with a pen. I only have it on change.org at the moment. Do you two want to sign it on change.org today from the link?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Unchange.org.
Yes, I said, do you have access to the group chat in the group?
If it's Facebook related, yes.
I posted it in Facebook, message, and I posted it in Facebook. I think is there one chat group and one Facebook group? I mean, I messaged and posted it. You'd click or tap the link. It will go externally to an external site, away from Facebook to change.org. But you should be able to do that, like whether you're on browser or Facebook app.
I don't think
It'll do that.
Okay, I can do that in the
Awesome.
email.
If we go from 2 to 5 signatures, we will be in the internal change.org search results. I'll make it easier. The link is still the best, most direct way, but this will make it easier when we get a 5. And then if we get to 1,000, it is 5 times more likely to be successful. So I don't know if you have your smartphones with you, if you're able to get into the message or the group right now. Are you trying to do it, Andrew?
What's up?
Are you trying to sign it?
No, I
Okay.
haven't signed.
But you, Tom and James, you said you want to also sign as well as you, Phil?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Anyone else interested?
I gotta read it first.
Okay. The more the better.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know what it's about, but it's about an intentional community for autistic people. It's not about residential, but it's about the government giving mortgages at reduced rates or free houses to autistic people that will be theirs to own personally and unconditionally, like a homestead. But it's not for financial assistance. It's to give financial assistance or financial incentive to those not needing assistance. But the reason is because we already have residential services if needed. But this will get autistic people to agree to move to one place. Because if an independent autistic people do that, it'll make socializing easier when we can find each other.
By the way, it's not a medically. I just checked, looked up about Mozart. It's not a verified medical fact.
Anybody born Anybody who died before 19.
That's why we have to be careful.
Yeah, that's why that's what they said on the
Yeah.
open AI.
Anybody who
Well,
died like
I
before
guess-
1970 is all perceived that they were autistic.
Yeah.
I guess, looking at the medical criteria is critical when you're trying to identify these people.
Yeah.
All right, this was an awesome discussion, I have to say. I hope all of you enjoyed it, got something out of it from one another. Thank you very much for bringing your petition to the table. I think it's fabulous, and
Yeah.
it's.
Are you planning to sign it today?
I'm sorry.
Do you hope to sign it today?
I need help doing those kinds of things, but
Okay.
again, I will reiterate this. When you use specific political names, you may not get a response because they're going to be looking at each other to see
Okay.
how they're responding.
Okay.
So I don't want you to put all your hopes into political response.
Okay.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay.
But could you,
Especially when you call them out by name.
Right.
If you use, we're looking for support from our legislators or whomever.
so like New York State Senator, the
Yes,
Senate, and the United States
yes,
Assembly?
exactly.
If you know,
Versus,
unless we just address the state senate and the student assembly as wholes, maybe
Yeah.
the governor, but they have to usually send it afterward. Hopefully, I could try that, but
yeah, I think you should shift that way because I think people whose names are called out are going to be reluctant until they see if anybody else is doing it, because there could be conflict. Do you agree with that?
I guess now someone recommended their names, but I know that there's individual private letters, personalized private letters to the legislators, but someone said to do both. But I guess both of them addressed to them. But maybe I could.
Yeah, the letters, individual letters to somebody is different.
Yeah.
But when you put it out there for everybody to see how each person is going to respond, I think people will be reluctant to support it.
Okay.
But you did a phenomenal job.
Thanks.
Phenomenal.
Yes.
I'm really pleased with the result of that.
Yeah, Veronica. There was like a museum called the Disability History Museum.
Yes.
I went there for a job interview, and apparently it's shut down due to the pandemic.
There's lack of funds too.
Yeah, I know the guy personally who was running that, and it's pretty disappointing. So
Yeah.
It really is disappointing because
it was good. I mean,
I was
again,
going there.
I could walk in there and recall everything from when I started in the
Yeah.
institution in 1970. So,
yeah, it's hard running a museum,
Yeah.
even a small one.
and again, that was an education for people.
Yeah,
it was
like
an
I
education.
mean, I bet there were like prosthetic limbs from the 1800s and a wheelchair from like the 1600s.
I looked it up.
Yeah.
It says the Museum of Disability History, formerly in Buffalo/Eggersville, New York, is now located at the Viscardi Center in Albertson, New York, and reopened in February 2026 as a new, fully accessible gallery space.
Wow.
Nice.
Where is Albertson?
I was gonna
I have
say.
no clue. I've never heard of that city in my life.
I will
It opens
talk
on,
to.
it's open 10 to 4 on Tuesday through Friday, and 10 to 2 on Saturday.
I will talk to
That's
my
like
friend
way
about
too
it.
far.
Yeah,
Like very.
I'll talk to my friend about it and see. Maybe it would be, and I don't know if people would be in agreement to this, but maybe it would be nice for something like that. That we use several means of transportation and go out to something like that
That'd be great.
to go through it, and learn something more about the history.
What the museum?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Let me again talk to my friend. He just about put it together.
But they said
And,
I do want the museum or my petition.
the
Yeah, it
museum.
says it's in,
Okay.
no, it says it's in Albertson, New York.
Albertson, New York.
I don't know where that is, but
That's what I'm trying to find out.
anyway, anybody else have anything that they want to add, or should we close here?
Let's have James have some better
Yes.
before it runs out.
Alright, so, I think that it's appropriate that people should use hate speech in workplace, especially with everything I've been hearing about.
We'll have Veronica post it.
That's how count.
Jake.
And
Can
hopefully,
we,
Long Island.
hopefully this video is made clear everyone why
can we
your
let James talk
church
first?
not be he used for who's carelessly and how it's hate speech and everything. Yeah. Hopefully he'll have those videos that'll interest you as well, and hopefully hope that everyone who watched this video has got a new fresh perspective.
Very good, James. And who better than to hear from the people themselves, right?
Amen.
Exactly. All right, thank you, everybody. You did a great job. Lots of good input.
Goodbye, world.
Thank you. Goodbye.